If I think, and I believe that if for any reason, the communications between Mr. Zeze and Mr. Kibo has broken down, which I see clearly, I believe the committee can establish or can appoint another person on the team to collect the documents and information that they want. Mr. Kibo can remain as an auditor or still chair this committee without speaking with Mr. Zeze. And I am doing this because I want peace during this process. I'm not saying that Mr. Zeze should not submit reports, because I think that is not right, and I think that's something he needs to do. But there is a clear indication between this communication that there's a breakdown here. And is it in our interest to sit down, look at the breakdown and say, we're going to close our ears to it and force Mr. Zeze to say, you have to talk to people? Or we can use other options on the committee, ask Mr. Kibo, appoint Mr. Kane to communicate with Mr. Zeze to gather the information they want. All they need is the documents. In addition to that, I say Mr. Zeze is not the only commissioner. He was chair of the election commission, but each of those commissioners are answerable to this process. He submitted a report, and I have not had the time to read through his report, but I believe in that report there are several committee members that were specifically responsible for areas within those committees. Those people are answerable to the election, to the audit process as well. You don't do an audit of a commission, and Mr. Doyen was going on Mr. Graham stuff, but I mean, we're not discussing Mr. Graham stuff here. You do not go to audit an election commission and say that the only line of communication or the only person you can get a report from is the chair. No. A report was submitted. There are other commissioners on that team that you can contact. I don't see any effort being made to contact any of the other commissioners. I'm not saying Mr. Zeze needs to submit those reports. He needs to turn over the documents. You understand? But it's a breakdown of communication. These are not kids. These are not kids. And is it beneficial to this community that we go drag ourselves through the court process? Besides, this country has laws. And everything is a process. It might take us 6 months before our kids is even listen to. Is it in the interest of our community? You said no problem, but is it in the interest? Is it in our interest? Can we afford it?
Let me just say that.
That is my opinion, and I didn't ask for you to respond to it. I mean, everybody was going.
No, I like what you're saying. I'm trying to say.
I'm just saying there are other ways, there are other means of communications that we must use.
Okay.
When you try to communicate with somebody this way, that's why we have our processes. You go another way. Even in business, you do it. If I have to submit a report to my boss and as an issue I can't submit a hard copy, I have the option to send in an email. There are channels of communication and different ways that you can reach, that you can get through to people. I feel that one of the other options that I see on this table, if this board wants to actually take a process, Mr. Zeze having a problem submitting the report or being answerable to Mr. Kibo or submitting his report to Mr. Kibo, Mr. Parker is the chair of finance. Let Mr. Parker tell Mr. Zeze to submit a report. Channel your communication. There are different ways that we can do things in this community. Let's exhaust those pieces before we think about court. And I've been hearing this court. I mean, come on. We have to live with each other in this place.
Yeah. 1 minute. Okay. All right. My concern here is that I think what I gather and going back and forth, I think that what I gather here, is that Zeze does not want people to order him because people, according to his stand-up, is not competent.
May I correct you that, please, because Zeze's complaint is not just against Kifo.
No, I'm going further though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kifo is just
he's castigated the entire community.
Right. So what I'm saying here is that, the thing is that what makes this whole thing complicated is because first of all, is the board willing to consider, changing the election, the audit committee to accommodate the request or not? We got to address that issue. And in so doing, I want for us to have a motion. Because whether, this board, would in fact giving Zeze complaint and all of the barrage of email communication, what we understand, that is a board, going to remove the current audit committee and recommend that the president change the audit committee to certify Zeze committee on that. So let us make a motion to discuss this issue. Because everybody come here and says Zeze is complaining, and Zeze is right, the audit committee is right. So let us have a motion to see whether we can discuss it. Then if we agree that one, this audit committee need to be changed, two, it doesn't need to be changed, then we have a decision to make. As I said, the audit committee, for example, if we agree that this audit committee will not be changed, it will remain where it is, then we compel Zeze to cooperate with the audit committee. That is the decision of the board.
Okay.
That's my case.
Yeah.
Thank you. Before you guys go further, let me try to state here that the protocol of communication that Mrs. Gray alluded to, when you guys were appointed as oversight committee chair, I did it purposely that anyone who has information pertaining to your area that you're taking care of, people should not contact me. I have tried to discourage that. That means you're the committee chair. So it is not whether they like you or they hate you. The point here is that they have to work with you. We are experiencing in corporate America. Not everybody be happy with. But if the person is your boss, the person is your boss. For auditing, nobody. Auditing has a different connotation when something is hidden. But when you are much more clearer in your dealings, believe me, you're never afraid of auditing. We go through the same thing. I'm only trying to say that Mr. Zeze's concern is legitimate. However, I believe it undermines a precedent. It undermines precedent. Okay, you can only use that when the person is going to judge you. Okay, render judgment on you. This man is not going to render judgment on Zeze. When Zeze reports send in his report, he will put his report together and forward it to the board because he's not the overall decision maker. So Zeze needs to understand that. Send in your report. Let them reconcile all of what you have sent, okay, and then see whether you can be prosecuted or not. This court code you guys hearing about, nobody is wishing to take for the court. But if at all that's the last result, so be it. Yeah, Mr. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Chair.
Yeah.
No, let us not be repeating ourselves and wasting time here. What,
Yeah.
we have to come up with a motion
Yeah.
on the burning issues. Okay, and let us vote upon it. Because we've been talking about corporate America, the one is not this, the one is not that. Time is done. For me, from the time you appointed me as chairman for the transition team,
Yeah.
Susie clearly stated it that you were not under no condition you will cooperate with this man. Okay, let us. One man cannot defy organization. If we sit here and just sit down with Mr. Susie and put the community into another message, the accountability, we are going to be held responsible. And nobody want to. For me, I'm going back to Liberia. You understand? I don't want for OLM business to be a stigma on me. All right. So let us come up with a motion here. After my honorable board member, let us come up with a motion and get the thing put behind us. If all we are telling Mr. Zeze to cooperate with the audit committee for certain time to give that time frame, he now got to dictate to us. Okay, because it's important that we respond to his communication in that line and tell the person let you hold on with that legal stuff here until that time frame, then we can go to court.
Okay.
Thanks.
Final.
I want to say that I don't know what the motion is going to say because I don't see logic in the motion right now. What I want to suggest that considering the time frame, I still say Mr. Parker is the head of finances. This is his area and that's his role and that's his area of communication. I suggest that he engage Mr. Zeze and the auditors, figure out what documentation or what kind of communication issues they need, what kind of stuff they need. Let him take care of that coordination and see how best he can bring those two together. There's a breakdown of communication and we cannot close our eyes to that. If we say we want to go wherever we want to go, it's still going to drag on for another 6 months and we're going to still be in the same process, having the same discussion again. That's not what we want. It is not productive and it is not in the interest of our people. There are other means of communications or getting information from Mr. Zizek and his commission. I see we keep alluding and referring to Mr. Zizek, and I insist in here, Mr. Zizek is our commissioner. He was head of that group. There are 13 or more commissioners, and I think it's time that those commissioners come together to be able to be accountable to this process. And Mr. Chairman, I would suggest to you that you bring the entire election commissions to the table, bring the entire audit team to the table, and see how best we can iron it to get our communication process started. Because as I know it, that Mr. Zizek do not hold all of the receipts and all of the information that this auditing is gonna, this audit committee will need. There's a need to bring the entire commission together and the entire audit group together and see how best we can resolve it.
Bring all the commissioners together, that's
Yes.
your recommendation?
Yes, bring the commissioners together, bring the audit team together.
The what? The audit.
The auditors and the election commissioners. And Mr. Zizek is one person. Yes, he's the head, but he's one person on this, and that's where.
I'm trying to take your suggestion and make sure that, we bring it through the flow for consideration. Okay,
That's
so
a
one meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what we're doing here is going to lead to us spending more time on this issue than we need to. I'm not an auditor. I'm not an expert in auditing. I don't know if you are. I don't know if the chairman of finance is. We have a group of specialists who are able to do this job. The board is not the audit committee for OLM and should not be engaging in audits. Fundamentally, we have an audit committee in place that knows what they want to do. And the reason we have this stalemate is the Elections Commission has decided to stonewall them. Let's call a spade a spade. And with regards to the suggestion to the Honorable Board Secretary, Mr. Kessley, I think the resolution to authorize legal action is the proper course of action that we should take today. Taking that resolution today doesn't mean that the court action will start tomorrow. We could give him a window of opportunity. In fact, my proposal to the attorney is to write him and give him a window of opportunity in which to act. But the communication has gone to Zizek and the entire commission. But let's face the reality. When you are engaging a commission, when you are engaging a body, you communicate with the head of that body. And so those communications have gone to Zizek and with CC copies to members of the commission. But none of them are stepping forward. Okay, all we're going to do by this process is buy time, delay, engage our time. We have so much other work to do. I have so much other work on my plate. We all have 9 to 5 jobs. Then we volunteer our time to serve this community. This entire week, I have not left this office before 9 o'clock at night. It is not fair to the community, to our time, to ask us to continue to spend more time on this audit because Francis Zizek doesn't want to play ball with the people he wants to be the player and the referee. I see no credibility in any of the arguments he's made against this audit committee. So I would hope that we will move next to talking about a firm resolution authorizing legal action, and then we will take that and use our best judgment to ensure that the audit committee complies. But to keep going back and forth, we have other issues. It's 8:30 already, and I have a teleconference at 9 o'clock on the immigration issue.
Okay, well, I have listened to all of you, and I think we all pretty much exhausted our time regarding the resolution for legal action against the commissioners. We have a suggestion on the floor that I would like to first bring to the floor, and that is Madam Grace suggested that we bring the commissioners and the auditors to the board. Am I right? Together. Yeah, bring together and purposely for.
To establish a line of communication.
To
ensure
establish-
that we can get the documentation we need
Okay.
for this audit process.
So this is something that I want a motion to bring to the floor as to whether this is what.
Well, let me come in. I think that is a suggestion, and I don't think that the fight.
I want to make it. Is this, excuse me.
I think you should go ahead.
Because
That's
she is suggesting, and I'm asking whether
Let me come up with another suggestion. We vote on it and we move.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I suggest that the honorable body, the board of directors of OLM, should communicate with Mr. Francis Zizé, giving a time frame to submit to the audit committee. If at all he refused to submit to the audit committee, there will be a legal action against him.
So what you're suggesting here, if I got you right, we should write him, one, acknowledging his complaint,
Yes.
two, on behalf of the board,
Yeah.
give him a time.
Time frame, yeah.
What would be the time that you would suggest? Because that he left it open.
Up to 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yes.
2 weeks, that would be 14. Does that include weekends?
Yeah, we can.
No, I'm just asking you,
Yeah,
maybe you're
weekends,
talking
yeah.
about weekdays,
2
then not
weeks.
10. Okay, 14 days straight. Okay. And what happened? Okay. And then,
Well, I think what Kesabi is saying, but I said that he's not clear on that. What I said earlier was, the same contention is, first of all, that he does not want to be audited by people. I want the board to make it firm. And either one, that people would audit Zizé.
Not people, the audit committee.
I'm just saying he's a chair.
he's a chair. That's
Right, or we will, first of all, get another audit committee. I want for us to be able to resolve that.
Repeat that again.
This is a contention. The reason why he is not cooperating with the audit committee is he does not want the committee to audit him
Want another audit committee.
because of what the excuse he gave. I want, my motion here is the board should make a determination whether the contentions are indeed legitimate, and that in fact we must either remove the committee and bring the one that satisfies the criteria, or this committee will stay. If we reach that decision, then of course it's on obligation to abide with this committee.
Thank you. Okay, then I would need a motion. I think, first of all, we have 14 days ultimatum. Okay. We have, we have 14 days. We have 14 days ultimatum, and we have another suggestion for the LOC, line of communication, to bring the commissioners and auditors together to establish that in place. So,
I think both almost the same.
which one?
You have 14 days to cooperate. Okay.
Yeah, let me just state mine here. I seriously get a problem with the 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks too long. It because we need to expedite this process.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
if you do not pass a resolution authorizing legal action, Francis Zizé will look at this body as a joke. I repeat, if you do not, he will look at it as a joke. Because we passed an authorization for legal action does not mean the legal action will stop tomorrow. It will let him know that this board is resolved as seriously, and if he does not, that we have the authorization to pursue legal action. If we are going to come back here in another week, in another 2 weeks, to decide that he has not complied, and what do we do? I think we are wasting our time and spinning our wheels. We need to make it clear, given the conditions, and state that the authorization has been passed for legal action, and that he has 7 days, and if that he does not act, we'll take the action. If we want to say 2 weeks, that's a matter of discussion, but the authorization for legal action must be given to tonight if they will know that we are serious.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
You see, the reason that I have suggested 2 weeks, and moreover, his complaint, his communication to us, we don't want to be seen as, being biased due to his communication. We have to put him on the spot. We're not even going to give him an opportunity to have to say that, look, I wrote a letter to the board, they ignore it, and they just went strictly with the resolution, the legal resolution. Let us just give 2 weeks is nothing.
To a point right there,
Yeah.
what I want to say is that the reason why I said 2 weeks is too long, we have to look at the psychology of the letter. Okay.
We are choosing 1 week.
Yeah. The reason why.
I agree. 1 week.
Okay. The reason why I say you have to look at the psychology of the letter.
1 week, I agree.
The reason why I say you have to look at the psychology of the letter, like like Madam Grace said, the speculation is already out there. Okay. Listen, the speculation is already out there. Okay. The speculation is already out there that you guys they're trying to see legal action against Mr. Francis Zizé. And knowing the communication that is going around, this thing came in at a time when the speculation is already out there that the board is having emergency session. Okay? But I don't want to get involved in that. I just want to make sure that we are not tempering or reducing the momentum of the credibility of the audit committee. They have worked very hard, and we cannot continue to drag them. They recommended the legal action because of all of the interactions that have been going on. We understand that frustration. I understand where Zizé is coming from, but what I can tell Mr. Zizé is that this board believes that once you cooperate, we will not reach this level. So I think 1 week.
I would reduce this 1 week.
Yeah, I think 1 week
Yeah.
ultimatum is given to Mr. Zizé. But at the same time, we need to vote whether to authorize the president or not to see legal action against Mr. Tonight. We need to do that.
Yes.
So I would like for the remaining member of the board of directors
Yeah.
to come. So this is what we're going to do. One is to acknowledge receipt of the letter.
From Mr. Zizé.
Yes. We need also acknowledge that we deliberated upon his request. On his letter, whereas the recommendation from the audit committee, via the president. We also need to vote to authorize or not to authorize the president to seek legal action. Okay, with that, we will say this, that one, Mr. President, if you are authorized, if this body gave you the authorization, the 7 days will be the cutoff point. This board will not come back to reauthorize. No, I want for people to understand it. If we authorize tonight, this board will not come back to reauthorize.
Mr. President, a minute, please.
If I
Just
have-
a second.
Yeah.
The 2 other board members were not here, and then I said 2 weeks, but I want to clear it that I want it to be 1 week.
Yeah, so we get 7 days.
Yeah, 7
Okay.
days. Yeah.
So while you guys were out, I'll restate myself for clarity and for the record. We're going to write Mr. Zizé, acknowledging receipt of his letter. We're going to write him to let him know that we deliberated upon his letter, whereas a recommendation to seek legal action from the audit committee via the president, and we're going to vote upon authorizing or not to authorize the president to seek legal action upon a 7 days ultimatum to collaborate or to cooperate with the audit committee. So he has a window of 1 week to start submitting documents to the audit committee, if or all we vote upon these things. So, Mr. Kesari,
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah, you need to, not too much.
I can count.
But then, yeah, be happy.
Bring one. I'll bring one. What you drink water.
So you guys, you got what we're talking about now. Yeah. The same line of communication going to be part of the, if we agree, as claimed by Mr. Zeze.
Well,
I need a motion.
All right.
A motion is needed.
I move that this board, it is my motion that this board vote on that the current audit committee for this, Mr. Gilly keep on the team, you know, that Francis is cooperate with them, and that we should not replace him.
Okay, it has been moved, it has been moved that the audit committee appointed by the president that remains and should remain and continue to do its work, and Mr. Francis Zeze should cooperate with that audit committee.
Second.
I need a second to?
Second.
Okay. Now, I need a vote. Okay.
Nobody can see.
It has been moved and seconded, so it's been brought to the floor. I need all those in favor of the audit committee appointed by the president to remain and to continue its function to audit the election commissioner and the rest of all other. I think I need to rephrase it. Right? It has been moved.
The suggestion is the audit committee remains to audit the election commission.
It has been moved and seconded that the audit committee remain to audit Mr. Francis Zeze. Mr. Francis Zeze should remain. Should submit all documents and be subject to audit.
You're not auditing Mr. Francis Zeze. You're auditing the.
I hope. Yeah. Okay. But I won't also understand. Sometimes when you call the leader, it does not necessarily mean that you're talking about the entire. So I want
We
to
want the commission.
Okay.
Let it be documented that it is the commission that is being audited.
Okay.
It's not Mr. Zeze. There's no one individual that you are auditing.
Thank you. I'll take your correction. Okay, this motion is now on the floor that the audit committee remains to audit the former election commissioners.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor that the audit committee remains to continue its work, please make it known by putting up your right hand. Three, Madam Secretary, three, all those in favor of having a new audit committee, please make it known by putting up your left hand. 0. So one member abstained. I hereby declare that the audit committee remains, and Mr. Zeze will submit to that, and Mr. Zeze and the rest of the commissioners submit to the audit committee. Now, we have 7 days, we have authorization. I'm picking up from there. I need a motion to authorize the president to seek legal action or not to seek legal action against the commissioners, the former election commissioners. A motion is needed.
Okay, well, I think there's a suggestion out there that I think that was suggested that since we already, that Zeze must work with the, that the finalized chair need to mediate between Zeze and the audit committee. I think it was a 7-day suggestion that was back.
I'm coming to that. It's still, but this one is after the 7 day expired. This bill will not come back.
Right.
So that's part of another block that we have to follow. So
right.
whether to authorize
step by step in decision making process. So we first of all agree that Zeze cooperate with this audit committee. It will not be changed.
That's right.
The next step I think we are approaching is that Zeze is given 7 days, and the final chair will work that modality to ensure that Zeze cooperate with that. The next step will be to authorize.
I didn't say that.
Oh,
I didn't say that.
Please restate your motion so we can go.
I said,
Can we have a motion? We've been on this for an
Yeah.
hour and a half now.
I said 7 days should be given to Mr. Zizi to submit
As of what?
as of today's date,
Okay.
to submit to the election commission.
I would have
After
guessed
the-
up to this day when you have not informed him.
Okay, tomorrow, no problem.
As of tomorrow.
Yeah,
So we talk about from Saturday to Saturday.
yes.
Okay. Okay, I need a motion for the 7 days.
Mr.
ultimatum.
Chair,
If I understood the suggestion clearly, I will make a motion. because
Yeah,
think
I need
we
a
are waiting
motion.
too much.
Yeah.
If
I
I
need a
understood
motion.
the suggestion clearly, and I will move that, that the election commission is given 7 days in which, she must comply with the audit committee, or has faced legal action.
Okay, it has been moved that the commissioners be given 7 days ultimatum to submit to the audit committee. A second is needed.
So,
I need clarification on that motion.
yeah.
Is that motion then a comprehensive motion authorizing legal action if
No,
Not
no,
for
we're coming to
purpose.
the subsequent one.
Yeah,
It'll be
okay.
subsequent.
That's
Will be subsequent.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're breaking it down.
Okay.
But after the 7 days, the lack of legal action.
Yeah, so I need a second to bring this.
So second,
Okay, it is now being moved and seconded that a 7-day ultimatum be given to the commissioners to submit to the audit committee for audit. All those in favor of the 7 days ultimatum, please make it known by putting up your right hand. 3. All those against, please make it known by putting up your left hand.
Are you laughing heavy?
Okay, the 3 absent and 1 abstain and 0. Now, final, last but not the least, is the authorization. Let me make this motion clear. This authorization
to find.
comes into play after the 7 days ultimatum given have failed. If it fails, it means that the president have been authorized after this date to seek all legal actions against the commissioners. So I want us to understand it clear. It is not in the middle of the process, it is after the process.
So what happened if the process started before the 7 days?
That means there where we
And Mr. Parker is going to stay engaged in this during this process, correct?
that means it dilute. Listen, if Mr.
Because he is coordinating the communications,
Yeah.
he's going to be mediating here. So what I'm saying here is he is going to be engaged during this entire 7 days process.
Yeah.
But let me make some clarification. I'm coming.
Engage at the same time.
Yeah, but let me make one clarification. I think, again, we are not beating somebody up to do something here. We are trying to make sure that we move, well in the community. But again, the decision we made here, compels us to work with the other committee.
That's right.
So it has to be made clear. And when I'm talking to him, that's what I'm going to be signaling. You have to, it is not if and but about it. The thing is, you have to work with the other committee. I understand you have contention, work with the other committee. When the report is made to us, you can, say, you can bring those things and we'll look at it. So indeed, I will initiate, but it's not going to be the why did this? Why didn't I, make it happen? No, you need to understand that he must work with the other committee.
Okay, that's clear.
Yeah,
I
Mr. Chairman.
To a minute, we'll have to. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah, you know what? I want to say it clear. The honorable co-chair is not going to mediate. Let us get it clear. The honorable chair is going to, not tell them the decision of the board, not to bring party to get all of these things. You know that what you are saying. So the bringing the document this that is not what we telling the honorable co-chair to do. what we are voting upon, this is why he going to enforce.
Are
But
you,
his committee.
so you dictating to us what we need to know, or you
No,
gonna?
but
it is already written down.
we have not voted. Everything that we want to vote
Let
on,
me, okay,
it should be something that is done legally.
Yeah,
Because
Mr.
we-
Cassidy,
because
let us try to get this thing done. I don't have to restate what we have done already, but I think Mr. Parker understands what he needs to do.
Okay.
And we look forward to him working within the 7 days. After the 7 days is what we are about to talk about now, to seek legal action or not to. So I need a motion to authorize the president after 7 days.
Yeah, I made that motion.
A motion is needed and it's open.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I move that after the 7 day, if the election commission fails to, the former election commission fails to cooperate with the audit, the president should be in power, should be mandated to carry legal action against the election commission.
It has been moved. It has been moved and seconded that a legal action should take place after 7 days.
7 days.
All those in favor of the president to seek legal action on behalf of the Organization of Liberians in Minnesota after the 7 days ultimatum by the board, please make it known by putting up the right hand. Three have it. All those against? One. And the three members have it. It is hereby, Mr. President, you are hereby authorized authority that you need to seek to make sure that this organization property is well restored. We hereby ask you to communicate this to the audit committee that they need to resume their work. We are not saying that they should start all over. We hope that Mr. Parker will initiate the communication and they can begin from where they ended. And we hope to see some cordiality, some working relationship in the interest of the community. Hereby speak on behalf of the board that you would not come back. All you need to do, let us know where things are falling apart and the legal action you're going to be taking and want to be informed. And I definitely want to be informing all of you when there's a legal action. If there's no legal action, believe me, that will be my satisfaction. Okay, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and the Honorable Board. What I want to say here is that taking legal action is not my first preferred course of action. It's not a desirable course of action, but it's a course of action we're prepared to pursue if our hands are forced in that direction. Given the mandate that we have, we're going to communicate that to the audit committee. I expect the board to communicate directly with the Elections Commission, and I will also empower the lawyer who has offered to work for us pro bono to communicate that on my behalf, on behalf of the administration to the audit committee, to the Elections Commission, because I think that will communicate to them that we are serious. And that after that 7-day period, should we not have cooperation, then we will look at that and we'll enforce this resolution. So I thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.